Hey everybody, in this video, we're going to give you our top 5 headphone amps under $500. Now with all the supply chain issues driving the cost of premium components used in some of the best high performance gear, it's getting increasingly more challenging for brands to keep the prices of their higher quality audio gear within this price range. So we rounded up all the best headphone amps on the market to give you our top 5 picks under $500. If you're looking at all the best headphone amps this year with a great DAC built in that you can take on the go, or an amplifier with beefy analog components to use at home for less than $500, then we got you. You will not want to choose a headphone amp under $500 until you watch this. Now let's get into it. Before we get into our list, it's important to understand what a headphone amp is and why you need one. Now, we cover a lot of this in our other video where we explain all the technical things a really good headphone amplifier will have, and we'll link to that in the description. So I'll just focus on the most important basics here. If you're in the market for a headphone amp, you likely have one of several reasons for shopping around. Number one, your headphones need some extra power to get going. Maybe you own audio gear that doesn't have a headphone jack, or if it does, it has a weak headphone amp. Or you might be after an improvement in the overall sound potential that your headphones provide. Adding a more powerful amplifier to your signal chain will increase the power that amplifies your source, letting you hear more dynamics with rhythm and pacing details that make even a decent pair of headphones sound more alive. A standard pair of Apple AirPods, for example, will have an impedance of about 20 to 40 ohms, which means they only need sources with really low power output. A laptop or a smartphone's built-in tiny op amp provides enough power to drive a pair of standard low impedance headphones, but as you step up to a really good pair of audiophile grade headphones, impedance can soar into the hundreds of ohms, making the need for more serious power to drive them a crucial part of your investment. If you do have a pair of difficult to drive headphones like the Odyssey LCD3s, for example with their planar magnetic drivers, then you've likely found out that the headphone jack on your phone will just not play them loud enough. That's because of their high impedance at 110 ohms. For laptops and smartphones with really low power outputs, you'll need a headphone amp powerful enough to get any of the higher impedance audiophile grade headphones going. Most headphone amps will solve any of these issues, and the majority of them today will come with an upgraded high performance DAC built in as well. Headphone jacks are truly an afterthought on our smartphones and most audio gear, and when you underpower your headphones, the bass does not have the impact it could give you, and the sound can just be a little anemic. Most good headphone amps will have 10 times the power of the standard smartphone or laptop headphone amp to give you better bass and more dynamic sound. When you couple the dedicated headphone amp with a good DAC, you'll hear substantial improvements in sound quality. Many of these headphone amps will also have the capability of connecting up your audio system to improve your main speakers as an added bonus. All of our choices for this list have the ability to drive just about any pair of headphones on the market. We also picked the units that can serve that great multi-purpose of a headphone amp along with improving your home audio system. Since most of us listen to headphones on the go, we lean towards portability for most of our choices. All right, our first headphone amp under $500 is portable, but still makes room for beefier components. When you first look at the hip-dac 2, it looks like a tiny flask that could hold your favorite bourbon. But this portable and ultra affordable DAC and headphone amp is perfectly sized for a run, a flight, or just getting some work done at the coffee shop. It connects via USB. Just add high-res music from your smartphone, tablet, PC, or Mac, insert headphones, and away you go. Inside there is an upgraded 16-core XMOS chip that processes digital audio from the latest super speed USB 3.0, which has lower latency. If you're into Tidal, you'll appreciate having a full MQA decoder rather than a renderer only. That completes all 3 unfolds to deliver the studio quality sound of the original master recording. We also like how iFi chose a male connector for the Type A USB port. This provides much better mechanical integrity than the micro USB ports used in some other portable DAC headphone amps, especially when it's being carried around inside of a pocket. The other USB-C port is dedicated to charging the unit, and this is a fantastic thing to see since most chargers have already moved on to the USB-C standard. For the analog stage, iFi uses a balanced design throughout, which is quite rare and not found in most products at this price point. Balance means less noise interference and crosstalk. So rather than using what's called single-ended, this uses a type of audio circuitry that has individual left and right channels. It's superior to single-ended circuits commonly found in headphone amps at this price point. In terms of sound quality and price, this makes hip-dac pretty special for a portable headphone amp under $200. The amplifier section even features a custom iFi OV op amp with the power to drive some of the most power-hungry headphones and high sensitivity in-ear monitors on the market. You could even drive high-impedance open backs up to 600 ohms without breaking a sweat if you use the balanced headphone output next to the hip-dac's beefy, high-quality volume knob. There's also a 3.5mm stereo mini plug output for use with the single-ended headphone connections, and this uses iFi's proprietary S-balanced circuitry to reduce crosstalk and other noise interference in the signal in half. Now, I think that's pretty hip. For the digital section, iFi selected similar high-performance Burr Brown DACs that they use across their entire line of more expensive headphone amps. The chipset has a natural musical sound, and iFi's deep experience with this digital tech means they really know how to squeeze every last drop of performance from it. hip-dac 2 is ultra portable, and at under $200, we think this is the perfect little headphone amp for anyone with an on-the-go lifestyle. Alright, now if one of your main reasons for considering a headphone amp is to have better audio quality at home, then you'll want to pay special attention to the internal components of the headphone amp. The phrase, "you get what you pay for," usually applies to headphone amps too. So if you're doing the analog only type, you may find some with premium components or pure Class A amps to drive your headphones. And that's exactly what you'll find in this next headphone amp. Zen CAN uses fully discrete balanced Class A amplifier circuitry throughout its design, which trickles down from iFi's most expensive flagship headphone amp that sells for hundreds of dollars more. If you already have a good external DAC and a great pair of open back headphones, you'll need a powerful amplifier to drive them. This compact and ultra affordable amplifier sits on a desk and connects with an external DAC or laptop's analog output to pump out an audio signal that is full of dynamic details. Just add a good pair of high impedance headphones or speakers, press play, and zen out. If you plan to use your headphone amp with a power amp or a pair of powered speakers, you want to make sure it has a set of audio output jacks in addition to a headphone out. In some cases, the headphone out is capable of driving an amp or speakers. Most of the time, if you see the output rated higher than 2 volts, it should work in a variety of situations. The Zen CAN has a whopping maximum output of 15.1 volts at 600 ohms on tap, which is serious power that will make even the most difficult to drive high impedance headphones like the Odyssey LCD3 open backs come alive. You can use the gold-plated balanced 4.4mm headphone output on the front panel for the cleanest signal possible, or for single-ended headphone connections, it's cool to see a 1/4-inch headphone jack on the front panel, giving you both headphone options too. On the other end, there's a host of high-quality balanced and single-ended connections for getting music into the Zen CAN. Just use either the stereo mini plug or pair of RCA input sockets to connect a laptop, smartphone, or a DAC. There's also a balanced 4.4mm input on the rear for the cleanest signal from your audio sources to the headphone amp too. Now, if you're into open back headphones and listening at home, pay attention to this next feature. It's pretty cool. Since the backs of open back headphones are open, which ventilates the sound waves so that they don't get trapped and become standing back waves inside the ear cup chamber, some of the lower frequencies are also leaked out instead of being redirected back towards your ears. Now, this has a really cool circuit called X-Bass iFi design that actually corrects for this by adjusting for the lack of bass that's often apparent with bass-shy headphones like open backs or IMs. Super cool. Up next is the DragonFly Red, and this one is packed with tons of technology that was designed by AudioQuest and Gordon Rankin. If you're not familiar with who Gordon Rankin is, he's the founder of Wavelength Audio, which was the first company to improve computer audio with his USB DACs. He's considered by many in the industry to be the inventor of asynchronous USB. So To make a better headphone amp for people to use on the go, AudioQuest knew it needed to design one with a higher output voltage, but still be small enough to carry around inside of a pocket. The DragonFly Red is only slightly larger than a USB stick and connects directly to a computer's USB port. With the right adapter cables, you can also connect it to a phone or tablet. It has a very powerful ESS Sabre 9601 headphone amp, which provides 2.1 volts of headphone output, about the same output as a CD player. So Red can drive pretty much any pair of headphones on the market without breaking a sweat. Even though this is designed to be totally portable, you could connect Red from your computer directly to your audio system. 2 volts are plenty to drive any power amp, enabling you to use the Red as a preamp to a power amp or a pair of powered speakers. For the digital section, Red's digital audio converter uses the ES9016 chip by ESS. This is a higher performance DAC that uses a minimum phase filtering process with a fast roll-off filter. So think of music with natural dynamics and enhanced stereo imaging with clear detail retrieval. All this comes inside a tiny package that travels anywhere with you, but many people use it both at home or on the go to access great sound. Now, if you want even more dynamics and realism from your music, then audiophiles should absolutely consider stepping up to AudioQuest's flagship DragonFly USB DAC and headphone amp. For less than $500, the tech inside this next one is amazing. Now, Gordon and the AudioQuest team managed to cram almost 200 components inside this tiny case. While the Red is spectacular for its price point, the Cobalt has several improvements. Cobalt has the same powerful headphone amp as the DragonFly Red, delivering plenty of power for even the hardest to drive headphones, but stepping up to this one gets you a higher performance ES9038 Q2M DAC chip with a minimum phase slow roll-off filter for an even smoother, more natural and resolute sound. The processor in the digital section is also improved. Not only is it 33% faster than the Red, but current draw is reduced from the USB connection. AudioQuest also studied the noise generated from Wi-Fi signals, Bluetooth, and cell phones while sitting close proximity to these devices. And they found if they reduced this noise, the audio improved. So they put more power supply filtering into the Cobalt. Rather than using multiple clocks, Cobalt uses Gordon Rankin's special asynchronous transfer USB code with monoclock technology. This ultra low jitter clock is generated from the DAC chip and runs the chip functions as well as all microcontroller functions. While that is a mouthful of tech, what your ears will hear is a big improvement in both clarity and resolution of low-level audio information, which to my ears gets you more involved in the music. In terms of audiophile playback, Cobalt can handle up to 24-bit 192 kHz files, and for MQA lovers, it's a full render. Out of all the Dragonflies, Cobalt is the smallest bug that offers the most natural and immersive sound that is almost holographic in presentation. With its powerful headphone amp section and its upgraded digital section throughout, the difference you'll hear is pretty substantial. At less than $400, the Dragonfly Cobalt is a very special, portable, or at-home DAC headphone amp. Now for this last one, we have not heard a DAC headphone amp with a stereo preamp built in that sounds as good for its price, period. The Pre Box S2 Digital is an ultra compact component that can give your headphone setup a nice boost, and it won't take up much room on your desktop. You could even use its stereo RCA outputs as a preamp to feed pristine audio signals to a pair of powered desktop speakers or a power amp too, so it has ample power for most headphones. The sleek aluminum chassis is barely over 4 inches wide, so it's compact enough to tote in a bag and carry around when you travel too, but I think most people will use it at home or on a work desk. This one was built to deliver top-notch sound quality from digital sources, and its incredibly well thought out design and all aluminum chassis house all audiophile grade components with a host of input and outputs. It even has 7 built-in digital filters to help you tailor the sound. The front panel has a full-size headphone jack on one end and a small but great feeling volume knob on the other end. In the middle, there's a tiny color display window flanked on either side by 2 buttons that let you select the input, get into menu settings, and change the filters. It has a completely dual mono design with each channel of the signal path mirrored Pretty impressive for a headphone amp under $500. Pro-Ject opted for the ESS Sabre ESS 9038 dual DAC in the Pre Box S2 digital, which is the highest level DAC they have ever used, capable of up to 32-bit PCM 768 kHz and DSD 512. It's important to point out that MQA unfolding and the higher resolution digital rates are only available on the USB input. The optical and coax digital inputs do not do MQA, but still go up to a very respectable 24,192. Pro-Ject tells us they made the decision to limit these two to keep the price down. If they made it available on all the inputs, we'd expect this to cost around twice the price. Now, most people are going to be using the desktop version of Tidal to play back MQA files with this, and the USB connection is best suited for that application. Finally, for you room fanatics out there, the Pre Box S2 digital is also room capable, which is just fantastic for a little preamplifier headphone amp and DAC that gives you this much performance and versatility for less than $500. All right, that concludes our list of the best headphone amps under $500. Now, there's some really good options on the market right now, but after testing each one, these are the best ones to get this year. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and also check out our playlist section on our YouTube channel to easily find all the content you're looking for. If you have any questions about any of these headphone amps, just give us a call, chat with one of our experts at audioadvice.com, or just stop into one of our award-winning showrooms and hear them for yourself. We'll be happy to help you out, and we'll see you next time.